Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, I asked my hairstylist to make me look sexy, so she started drinking. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Riftforce from Capstone Games. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. Riftforce from Capstone Games is a two-player fantasy adventure in which the players attempt to gain the most Riftforce points and destroy their enemies. Now, at the beginning of the game, you lay out 5 Rift cards, as well as 2 scoring cards up in the top corner, which I believe go up to 12. Then what you're going to do is you're going to select which factions you're going to play. You're going to have different factions you can choose from. You're going to mix a deck filled with these different factions, 4 different factions. What you're going to do is you're going to draw up to 7 cards. Now, these cards will have numbers between 5 and 7 on them. Now, what you're going to do is, on your turn, you can do one of 3 actions. First of all, you can play action cards from your hand to your side of the rift. So essentially, you can either play cards of the same number or suit. You can play them out in different locations adjacent to each other, or you can all place them on one locations. But again, they must be from either the same number or the same suit of cards. You go ahead, you place them out. That's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is you can play a card from your hand to activate the cards you've already got out there. Now, if you play the card from your hand, again, looking at, I believe, the number or the suit, you can play your elemental. That's kind of the main power of those kinds of cards. You can go ahead and play that and inflict damage on opposing cards, and putting damage tokens on them. If ever they receive as much damage token as the number of the card, they are destroyed. If you destroy a card, you get a rift point on the rift track. Next, you can check and draw. If you have less than 7 cards, you can check all of the locations, all of the 5 rift cards. If you have cards on your side, but your enemy does not have cards on the opposing side, you control that part of the rift, and you gain points according to how many sections of the rift cards you control. Then you can draw your hand up to 7 cards. So players are going back and forth. Again, they are placing cards out in front of them on the rift. They are playing their elemental cards in order to inflict damage on their enemy. They are checking to see if they control sections of the rift force. They are scoring points. They are drawing more cards, and they are hoping to gain the most points in the game. And the first player that is able to get 12 points wins. Riftforce. All right, this is a game that Capstone Games sent to me a while ago. They sent it to me, I think, last spring or summer. And they did it. They actually wanted to promote their Phantom card sleeves line. And all of the cards that we're using in this game have the Phantom card sleeves on them, which are a fantastic sleeve. They sent me this in Watergate. I love the sleeves that they sent with both of those games. And both games, obviously, I played and reviewed. I loved Watergate. Riftforce is a very different game, obviously, than from Watergate. It's not historical. It's fantastical. But it is a fairly simple game. You really have these 3 different actions that you can take every turn, but it gets pretty competitive. Again, you're trying to destroy your enemy in certain locations and then hoping he doesn't reinforce so you can claim, you can score that. But of course, just by destroying enemies, you gain points. And it's intense. You're going back and forth. And what's cool is the variety of the elemental powers that you can use. Like I say, you got these different factions, these different guilds that have different powers. They attack in different ways. Some of them say you can only attack certain cards in the row next to the opposing you. But it's really fun. There is a super lot of variety in this game, and it's a fast game. It's an easy to learn game, and Ray and I just had an absolute ball with Riftforce. So the recommendation for Riftforce is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history, fun things like that. I even post some of my lectures from some of my classes on that channel. Please check that out and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Please also give us a thumb on Board Game Geek for this video. And if you really do appreciate what we do in this channel, I'd ask you to humbly go ahead and click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. You know, I used to be considered quite the sex symbol until I was convicted of a crime. Then I lost my appeal.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love the
My only vulnerability is that I care too much. And knives and bullets and cheesecake. I do love a good cheesecake.